Thanks, Cenk. I'm learning a lot just being here tonight. I'm David DeYoung from HowWasTheShow.com, and I think I've just got one link in here up here. In 5 minutes, I just want to give you kind of a quick introduction to our site and how it came about, and kind of how surprised I am that it actually turned out the way it did. I had absolutely no intention of going into the internet music review business at all. And things have really changed. The internet time 5 years ago is like ancient history, and so we're looking at kind of a different world in a lot of ways. Things like MySpace weren't really around even then, and the ways that people are marketing websites have changed dramatically in that period of time. But about 5 years ago, I was going to a lot of rock shows, and after seeing one, a friend asked how it was. And I just wrote it, kind of jotted off an email and sent it out to her, and told her the way you'd tell a friend, how was the show? What was the music like? Who was there? What I thought of it, and so forth. And that became kind of a model for the way that we approached what we did, which was rather non-journalistically, kind of down to earth, and matter-of-factly telling people, not in a voice of God way, but one friend to another, what they might have missed, so they can kind of experience something, an event, in our case, music events, vicariously through you. This kind of feeds into some things that Chuck Olson has been doing. I know that he's got a photograph with him holding a piece of cardboard, Chuck from Blogumentary, who's on the panel as well, and in stories saying, "I am the media." Because what kind of surprised me was, and it kind of fit into how I realized that what How Was the Show was doing was actually having an impact and people were paying attention to us. I was just one guy with a blog initially and then a website writing about my experiences seeing shows, local music and national shows here in the Twin Cities. Until one day I said, I called a local band meticulously prefab in a review. And got a slew, probably the busiest day we ever had, in backlash when that band went on to a local music board forum and basically called me all kinds of names I can't even repeat tonight. And I watched our web stats just go through the roof that day, and I found it really interesting that I was being grouped in. It's like, these journalists, they're all the same. And I'd never thought of myself as a journalist, and it was one thing I was kind of, in our initial mission statement said, one of the reasons one of my credentials as somebody presenting these music reviews to you is I have no desire to be a rock critic. I never did, and I still don't to this day. I just wanted to tell people what I thought of the shows I was attending. And when I got grouped in with other journalists and rock critics, I said, well, maybe we're being taken seriously. We are being taken as if we are part of the media. I guess we are the media now, and. The site continued to grow after that point. We were getting more and more hits. We were starting to pick up additional writers. That's when I promoted myself to editor, since I wasn't the only person anymore. And now we've got about 25 writers now after about 5 years. And probably about 100 people have contributed reviews. I wanted to touch on a couple of things that I think has made us a success. And Brian had mentioned this too. He's talking about being an online publication, talking about the poetry, he was talking about the submission process and so forth, and following the rules that you would follow if you're a print journalist. And the reviews on How Was the Show have always been edited. We've solicited some proofreaders and people with good journalistic skills to make sure that things don't just get posted. We have no grammatical errors if we can help it, punctuation and all that stuff. We're following the rules that you would follow if you're a print media publication. And I think that's really important. So quality was something that we wanted to make sure that we had, and that's been touched on as well. I mean, it's really tempting with the internet. You can just throw anything up there, and there it is. But if you really want to make an impact, you want to realize that people are going to judge you based on what you put out there, and take it seriously in terms of maintaining that quality, whether it be your writing or the photographs that, in our case, that we also use. I wanted to just mention too, like one of the hidden agendas that we've had over the past few years has been to develop writers. And I don't know if some of my writers are here in the audience tonight, but we've had some really good results with people who may have approached the city pages or at some times the Pulse or the Star Tribune or the Pioneer Press, and there's not really an entry-level position at some of those publications. But we have been able to develop writers at How Was the Show who came in who had never written a music review before. In fact, one of our former writers went on to become the music editor of the Pulse. And many of our writers, and of course the Pulse, as many of you know, is folding this week. But we have seen many people come to us with no credentials whatsoever except an interest in writing, and have developed those people into people who are now writing for print publications and actually getting paid to do that. And that's one of the things I'm really proud of. I probably should have clicked through here just a little bit, but I'm going to finish up really quick and just to tell you a little bit about what we found we could do. After we developed the site, I realized, well, we have a captive audience now. We've got people coming to us to read the reviews, which was our primary focus. We've got 5 years now of reviews archived, going back to 2002. 2002 and 2003, I wrote almost all the content myself, but in say the 2006, we're talking about probably a total of about 750 to 1,000 reviews over the course of the past 5 years. And kind of meandering around here, but one of the things that we also were able to do is we created our own context. And something that I've been thinking about is like, anybody can take a picture, anybody can write a story, anybody can write a poem and put that out on the internet. But when you do that multiple times over a long period of time and you create this kind of a body, you basically have created your own context. And so the reason that a single review on How Was the Show might have not been worth very much, but when it's in the context of 750 others, people seem to think, oh, that's real stuff now. And 5 years ago when we started, it was difficult for us to get into even local venues to say get on the guest list or so forth to send one of our writers in. But now we actually have national touring acts that contact us and ask if we'd like to kind of solicit us to come to the shows, which also gives you an idea of how things have changed over the past 5 years, and people realize that online marketing tools, which we in a sense are one for the record labels and the bands, because we promote them, can really have as much of an impact in many cases, especially collectively, that the print media can. And that's all I've got to really say, and I'll wait for some follow-up questions when the panel goes up. So, thank you.